Talk to me, Goose. Talk to me. We are back. We are not back. We are back. We are not back. We are back.
Are we back?
We're back because I didn't tell you. I put the sound. That's very important. Audio, ladies and gentlemen. Boys and girls, today's word is audio.
So, plugging in the microphone,
yes.
Big part.
This is what happens.
Voice.
This is what happens when you got to cut corner and keep the overhead low to maximize profits. You lose the audio department.
Hey, well, don't forget the
tagline. Basically, you become the audio department.
Don't forget the tagline, IDD, where we sacrifice sound quality for content and ambiance. Never forget it, folks.
Learn it.
That's what we're about.
Know it.
I don't disagree. And, I mean, it's a perfect lead-in to the think piece of the night.
Think piece.
Where we come to the very tricky, slimy, slippery subject of branding.
Slippy and slimery.
No, slippery and slimy.
Slippery.
I think you said slimery.
I think you went too many rounds with Yoda.
I think you said slimery.
Did I? I thought I said slimmery.
Okay, but anyway, we're going to talk about branding. We're going to talk about our brand and what we think that is.
Or what we hope it is?
Either way.
Okay.
We're just going to have a conversation about our brand. So it can go in any direction.
Yeah.
And
we have to have a brand. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
This
is important.
Maybe we do, maybe we don't. Who knows?
Maybe our brand is that we don't have a brand.
Exactly.
Who knows?
We're the non-brand brand. You know what I'm talking about? Not generic.
We're the non-agenda agenda.
But hold on, I mean, maybe we're like super branded. Who knows? But
this is getting confusing by the second.
Anyway, we're going to talk about our brand, and the reason I bring it up is because I was telling RJ about a funny conversation I had with most important person in my world, my wife.
Mrs. Izzo.
That's right.
Mrs. Thomas.
Yes.
Yes.
Most important person in my life, my wife. She will remain nameless.
Mrs. Thomas Izzo. You know her as Mrs. Thomas Izzo.
No, I just don't want to say her name because she'll be like, "Did you say my name?"
Yes. All those stalkers.
So anyway, for the first time last night, RJ sent some links to our videos, and my wife watched it.
The whole thing?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
no.
So. Women won't sit there. Very few women.
I'd be surprised if she got through 5 minutes.
I would be shocked at that.
Yeah. Actually, she might have only looked at the thumbnails. I don't know. But anyway, so she says to me...
We're trying to bring female America into... We're working on it. Come on.
So she says to me, do you smoke cigarettes on video? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, how do you feel about that? And I was like, what?
How do you feel about that?
How do I feel about that?
How do you feel about that?
Which, if your partner is anything like mine, she does that sometimes. Like when she wants to lead me into what she's thinking.
That is a woman trick, though. You can see women doing that.
It's a Jedi mind trick.
They can't just ask you the damn question.
No, it's a Jedi mind trick.
They have to be mysterious.
It's a Jedi mind trick, because I understand that she has a feeling about that. But she's asking me how I feel about it so that we'll make it to her feeling. And she can tell me, you shouldn't smoke cigarettes on video. And then I was just like, give me a break. It's not like I'm snorting coke on video. I'm smoking a cigarette.
Now, the devil's dandruff would be interesting.
Right. I mean, I think
that would be its own segment.
I think you're crossing the line there.
Oh, you are?
Okay, if you're broadcasting and
you don't
snorting,
do that. You wait till the camera's off and you go. No, I'm joking.
I mean, that's just tough. Like,
yeah, no, that's
that stuff will bring you down.
You're flirting with disaster.
That stuff will really bring you down.
Your business, but
and I mean, I guess, but at the same time, like cigarettes, that shit will bring you down too. So maybe I'm a hypocrite. So anyway,
Mr. Chimney Sweep over here.
My wife brought up, she said I'm big into branding. I'm all about branding. So I thought that'd be a great think piece. Like, let's discuss our brand, what we think it is. What we think it should be, what we think it could be.
What about what we want it to be?
Sure.
How about that?
Wants are good.
So what do you, Thomas, think, in earnest, the brand for IDD could, should, or would be going forward. And more importantly is to coincide with what you and your heart want, because sometimes it's not always the same thing. Maybe in your heart you want one thing, but you know your head's going, no. You got to do this. Okay, and we've all had those moments too. So
I guess I do have moments like that.
We all have moments like that, man. They always said, don't you think from your head or you think from your heart. And there are times when you got to do one or the other, and it makes sense. Mm-hmm. But sometimes we mess that up as human beings. It's not intentional. You try to do the right thing, but you don't know where you're coming from with this. So, in any event, you tell me what you think our brand could, should, or would be. And then tell me if it coincides with what you hope it is.
Well, if I'm telling you what it should be, then that's obviously what I hope it is.
Okay, right? What is that?
I don't know that I've really thought that deeply about it.
You know why? Because you're not self-absorbed. What is my brand? Who the hell talks like that? I need to get my brand right. You know what? This better be. You better be sitting in an office in a meeting talking about the company's brand. That I'll buy. You as an individual saying that, unless you own that business, that's the only acceptable platform for that in my mind. But you just wanting to have a brand.
But see, that's the thing, though. I think like there is part of me that thinks like that.
Tom, everybody has an ego.
Yeah.
That's your ego talking. Everybody has the ego, and we. By the way, to be successful, you need to have an ego to some point. But there's that invisible.
Everybody has an ego.
Everybody has an ego, and you need to have it, especially if you're trying to be successful, because confidence breeds success. It's tough to be successful when you don't think you can be successful. You're fighting a losing battle there. So they always talk about confidence and the importance of that. That's your ego. Yeah. So if you're successful, you have to have an ego. We're always trying to find out as humans where's the line, and it's different for everybody. Where's the line with that? When has the ego gone too far? So when we talk about brand, while I understand the need from a business perspective, personally I give a frog's fat ass about my brand. Okay?
Yeah, but you don't. So you're telling me you don't care what other people think about you?
I stopped caring about what other people think when I broke my neck. That's when it happened. Before then, I will admit I had a problem with what I thought about everybody. I care about everything.
No, but I'm saying I think even
when I came out of the hospital, I was that event. Everybody has some. Hopefully, it's not something like that. But everybody has a moment that changes your life. And for me, it was my broken neck. Everything went away. Lost the basketball. That was over. Everything was over. Okay, and it was like, now what do? You put 13 years into something, and your world just went flip. So one of the things that when I came out of that, because it's funny, when those things happen, you find out who's in your corner. And I found out who was really in my corner, and that list was nowhere near as long as I hoped it would be. I'm not going to divulge into who's on that list, but they know who they are, some of them. Okay? In any event.
You mean like people that supported you through it?
Who's got your back when everything goes wrong? Who's there for you when you need to pick me up? When everything, I broke my neck. I lost everything. Okay, first they thought I'd never walk again. Then they thought I would not have the use of my left arm again, and that's still, I've got it, but it was never what it was. And then there's brain damage, which, by the way, that's still on the table 20 years later. So 20 now, almost 30 years later, Jesus, yeah. So when I came out of that hospital, I promised myself I was never going to give a frog's fat ass when anybody thought of me again.
A frog's fat
I was never going to, I don't care if you could be Dick Vitale and you could be telling people I was the greatest thing since sliced bread, I wouldn't give a shit.
But you're telling me you never have a moment like that.
Have I had moments?
I'm not talking about live your life that way, but still do I have there are parts throughout the day where you get caught up in some bullshit.
I'm human. You don't see, look, you can make a change and every now and then something happens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But it doesn't even have to be serious. I'm just saying.
No, it can be anything. But to your point, what I'm saying is, I've had moments.
I'm just saying it's hard to completely not care at all.
That's not going to go away. Mm-hmm. Or my concern for, because by the way, if you care about, first of all, you care about those people, so you want to know what they think. You want to, and you don't want to disappoint them. Mm-hmm. In the case of my father, who I felt like I failed to this day. And not because of the broken neck, but that's another subject for another day. But anyway, so you have these things that make you care what you want to know what they think. We're talking about a tragic, in my case anyway, where everything went the other way, and so life changing. The saying goes, that which doesn't kill you makes you stronger. It could have killed me. I should have been paralyzed. I walked away from that. Travis Roy, who's a local hockey legend up in Massachusetts, broke the same bone. He's a hockey player, and he's same bone in his neck that I broke. and he was in a wheelchair the rest of the remainder of his life. And when we asked the doctor, because I didn't know who Travis Roy was at that point, but when we asked the doctor why I'm walking, this is a doctor. He's one of the finest neurologists on the planet Earth. Mass General Hospital, best hospital in the world. If you don't know that, look it up. This is what this guy said to me. And he didn't say he did this. And my mother looked at him and goes, what's that? And this doctor, with his...
He said, asshole.
No, that's not what he said. He said, that's God.
That?
Yeah. And we said, what do you mean? He said, because I can't, in 40, whatever it is, 35, 40 years of medicine, I can't explain that. Everybody's nerve patterns are different. That's the only explanation I have for that. I don't know why you're walking. I am glad you're walking, but I don't know how it happened. This is the man. The top of that, the highest office in the building, that dude. That's what he's telling my mother and I. That's a pretty scary feeling. Okay? So that kind of stuff will make you make some changes. And one of them for me was to stop giving a shit on what people thought of me, good, bad, or indifferent. And that's the best advice I give my kids, because at the end of the day, you got to live your life, and you're going to make mistakes, and that's okay. But don't get caught up or try to impress everybody, because my father told me when I was 15, no matter how good you could be, you will never please everybody. It's impossible. True. You will never please. There will always be someone, and the better you are, the more of them there will actually be. Even there should be less of them, you think, but there's actually more of them, and most of them are sitting behind a microphone. Okay, so in any event, don't care what people think. That don't let that influence your decisions, your actions, because it's your life at the end of the day. And you won't please them all anyway. You'll drive yourself mad, so don't do it.
Yeah, you're right.
If you can please the face in the mirror, you are already winning. Because a lot of people can't even do that.
That's the toughest face.
That's the toughest face. You can lie to everybody else in the world. You can't lie to the face in the mirror.
That's a critical ass face in the mirror.
You can't lie to him or her. You can't do it. You lie to everybody else. You ain't lying to them.
The mirror's just like...
The mirror knows all.
Oh, word?
The mirror. Yeah.
That's who we are today?
Yeah, the mirror knows all. And the mirror looks at you that way too, like, really?
That's who you are?
That's who you are. So don't be fooled. Never always trust the mirror. The mirror
I think you should go back to bed and come back to me when you straighten yourself
back
out.
To the brand thing. There's tangent one for the night.
Yeah, back to the brand. Yeah, we got far off. You started talking about
I would say the Jedi mind trick is very powerful.
Well, I'll tell you something about our brand. Well, I broke my neck 30 years ago.
Let me tell you why I don't care about it.
There was another guy who broke his neck too.
Yeah. So anyway.
So that brings us back to our brand. What is our brand?
So what is our brand? So I do think, because I have a partner in this, and because hopefully this thing will turn into something, but because we love doing it. We love doing it. We hope we entertain people, and maybe they learn a few things. I know we learn a few. We learn something every night. None of the set whether we like it or not. Most of the times because we were not expecting it, but it happens, which is not a bad thing. So anyway, what I think our brand should be. To me, there should be some historical significance in there. Some we have a sense of history. Articulate that.
Well, you're a history major, aren't you?
I'm a history, yeah. My degree is in history and political science, yeah. So we should have something.
I'd say that aligns with you.
Something of historical significance in there, but obviously with a look to the future, forward thinking as well. So with some respect for the past, and so you can understand how to be successful in the future.
Progressive approach.
Something along those lines to me would make me and my need to make sense. This would make sense to me. It just would, because first of all, it broadens us and it reaches a bigger audience. But also,
so would that be called historically progressive?
You could call it that.
Because you have to think about even the way people interpret history now. It's political.
Of course it is.
Right? So to interpret history as it happened, you're a progressive. To say what really happened.
To say what really happened, regardless of the repercussions of that, because here's the thing about.
But in our society today, that's being progressive. They
still only tell you what they want you to know. That hasn't changed. That hasn't changed.
Is progressive.
That hasn't changed in our classrooms. They still only have you study the history they want you to study. That's true. And that's bad.
I'm just saying, in a society when speaking truth about past events is a progressive act,
That's funny.
that's behind.
Of course it is.
So I like if part of our brand is historically progressive.
Look politically what you always want to do is political rants. We just overturned Roe versus Wade. Would you call that a progressive move?
Hell no.
Okay. So,
but then again, to say that overturning Roe v. Wade was bad is progressive.
It's terrible.
That's baseline.
Yeah.
That's just baseline normalcy.
It's just.
If you have.
Yes, it's common.
You know what I'm saying?
But as I keep saying, as I get older, I realize that common sense is not a birthright. It's not. Every time I assume, I have stopped assuming.
I'm so beyond
that people have common sense. I have just stopped assuming it because then that way I'm pleasantly surprised when I actually see it. Okay, yeah. So because I'm just not. Every time I think I'm wrong, I'm proven wrong every time by that individual. So I am so over the whole. I am assuming that common sense doesn't exist, and when I see it, I'll be pleasantly surprised. Okay, that will give me hope if I ever see it again. So anyway, progressive with a historical significance there to understand the evolution, how we got to here.
Okay, so that's interesting on a sports talk show. Yeah. That's our first thing we called out as we'd like that to be part of the brand. Okay, so in addition to historically progressive, I don't know, like I want to get to a space where I'm doing this because I enjoy to do it.
Well, that I thought was a given.
And not worry about anything else really, because all we're doing is having a conversation that hopefully inspires more conversation. Yeah. Whether it's about sports, whether it's about history, whether it's about what I ate today or an argument I had with my wife, like hopefully we're a brand that inspires conversation because when people talk, like things work well. Communication is very underrated. When people connect and hear other thoughts, things go better. So like to me, I would like that to be part of the brand. But then some people are like, "Dude, it's a fucking sports show. Shut the fuck up." Yeah, and I get that side. Yeah, of it too.
I said that point. And trust me, you
I get that.
I understand. You'll get overloaded with sport. You want sports? We can talk you into the grave with it. Okay, so not the grave, literally. So to me, that to me is who we are. Number one, it's who you and I are,
and that's what a brand is. It's who you are.
It's who you are. Now, it's not about what I hope you or what I think I should be to you. This is just who I am. Right. And some of you are going to like it, and some of you aren't. And I'm okay either way with it.
So to me, a good brand is who you are.
Who you are, genuinely.
A bad brand is like who you think.
You're trying to be who you think people want you to be. And most of the time, you're wrong on that too.
A real brand stays true to this is what. I am.
This is who these guys are. They've been this since day one. Nothing's changed.
Actually, though, part of being who you are is changing.
Well, that's not
because I have evolved like a mug. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, you should. You definitely should evolve. But there are things that you don't want to change. There are things you should change. There are things that they're the right thing to do. So not everything needs to be changed.
Of course not.
There are some we talk about some of these qualities that are
because as you pick up pieces along the way, you keep those pieces with you. You don't erase who you've been, but I think there is a ton of change.
Yeah, and hopefully that continues for the better. So sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's not better. Sometimes it's worse.
Yeah, sometimes
it's not always better.
But typically, when you change for the worse, eventually you learn and you change again for the better.
That is the hope among all of us common sense folk. Anyway.
All right. So what else do you think for our brand?
I think you nailed it. I think that keep it. Oh, I'll tell you what. Simplicity.
There we go.
Let's not overcomplicate this. Let's keep it simple because what I used to tell my friends all the time, and what would piss me off about people, I have no problem with people who love to read. I have a problem with people who love to read and they throw around these ridiculous words they know most people don't understand to make themselves sound more intelligent.
Oh, I hate it.
That drives me up a wall.
I hate it.
Okay, and you know those people when you see them too. So my thing has always been, if you have something to say that's going to benefit those around you, you make that as simple as possible so you can reach as many people as possible. Because if it's that good, the world needs to hear it. And you got to make sure the world does hear it. So keep it as simple as possible. Don't start throwing around these words that people are like, what did he say? What did he say? What was that? How do you spell that? What was that? Don't do that. Keep it simple.
I think simplicity is just
because
simplicity is an underrated.
It is
thing in our.
You know what simplicity also does
is the best shit.
You know what simplicity also does? It's comfortable. If it's simple, people are more comfortable. Keep it simple. Everyone's relaxed. There's no stress. There's no pressure. Keep it simple, and people relax. And when people relax and more comfortable, they're better off, and they're more inclined to make a rational decision because they're not stressed out. They're in a comfortable place, and simplicity feeds that. So
when the brain is relaxed, you think the best.
You do. So keep it simple.
That's why in sports, it's so tough for people when they get in those big moments because when you start to stress, nothing is simple.
I tell you what.
When you're playing a sport and it's a big moment and you start to think about, oh shit, this is a big moment.
You can go through. I can give you a scenario in every sport where I could put you in that moment, and if you think about it, you'll start to get stressed out. You'll be like, oh my god, what would I do in that moment? Like here you go. We'll stop. Two free throws. You're down one.
Yeah.
Okay. Or you're down two, and you got to make both to tie it up. Yeah. Think about that, and you're in your gym, or and everybody's your girlfriend's in the stands, or your boy, and pressure.
And then you miss the first one.
You missed the first one. Then you really wet yourself because you missed the first one. You're afraid to shoot the second one. Baseball, 2 outs, bottom of the ninth, you're down 3 or 2. There's a runner on base. You got to get him and somebody else, or him and you home. There's 2 outs. That's pressure, and there's 38, 40,000, 50,000 people in the stands staring at you. Okay, that's pressure. And the guy on the mound throws 95. So it's like that's
what pressure. Would you know about?
What would you know about that? What would you know about that?
All right, we're going on a tangent. Let's go back.
So simplicity. Back to simplicity.
We were talking about we made simplicity.
We just turned it into it.
We made simplicity complex.
We did. Sorry.
We made that possible.
Hey, the Jedi are always thinking. Sorry, it's what we do.
I think part of our brand is a little messy.
Good.
Right?
That would be accurate.
Like, I think there are going to be times where we're just messy.
Fine.
Because it's raw.
It's raw. It's real. Raw and real.
So I think, like...
If every time I hit go on this camera and you see an immaculately freaking... You're like, what the hell happened to them? We come on, we're clean shaven, and we got a suit and a tie on like they do on First Take.
I'm
and
sorry.
No.
Nah, we don't do the suits.
Yeah, no suits. No suits, okay? So, comfortable, okay?
What's up with that, though? Why do people wear suits to talk sports?
It's got a professional. You look like a professional. If you come in looking like me, you look like a schlep.
Yeah, no, I mean, I get. So, I guess not everybody dresses up, right?
In corporate America, most of them do.
No, but I'm saying,
outside of that, no.
I feel like you can look nice and not be in a suit.
You can. That's the thing. There's levels to that. You can look. Yes, absolutely.
So not everybody suits up, right?
No.
But I don't understand a suit to talk sports.
The one thing that I've noticed, at least the one thing I've noticed, I'm in sales, so I've seen this. I bounce around sometimes. The one thing I've noticed about suits, the
man could sell misery to Met fans.
It's not that. It's the guys that wear the suits. They're getting higher and higher and higher up the ladder. Like the rest of middle management, by and large, might have a shirt with a collar, but they're wearing jeans and some nice shoes or something, or jeans and whatever. But you get above them.
Are you going?
Then you get the tie.
You going off on the white collars?
No. I'm just saying that's what I've noticed in my 20 plus years in corporate America and the private sector. Seeing this, as I've gotten older, the ties are getting less and less and less, and they're going up. So I don't really know the reason for that, and I'm not saying that's everywhere. I'm just saying that's what I've seen. Okay. So it is something to be noted, because when you see it in more than one place, then you kind of take a note of it. Like, wait a minute, and then you see it again. You're like, did I miss a meeting? What's going on? So yes, this is what I'm talking about. I'm not saying everybody's saying that. I'm not saying it's true in every place. I'm saying.
So you're saying in order to go to the top, we got to put suit and tie.
I'm saying when you get to the top, you are wearing a suit. You are. God, I don't know who set that, whose rule that is.
I'd hate to live a life where I was in a suit all the time.
Probably because you're getting out of a limo. So,
I don't care. Even if I'm getting out of a limo, I'd rather be in, like...
You can do that. Yeah, if you have a surf shop, like Ron John's Surf Shop, and you're the CEO of that company, can you show up ready to hang? Yeah, you can do that. If you're a sports company, You can get away with that.
I don't think I'd do that. I'd be casual, but I wouldn't do that.
Okay. I'd pull a Dawn.
Are you coming in a fur coat?
No. That's that. I didn't say the pimp. I said the Dawn. Okay.
Dude, Dons used to wear fur coats.
Dawn, yeah, but they have the gold.
That's where pimps
I was
got it
referring
from.
to the gold, like the bling bling, like the gold, like the
Okay.
gold, like the five stupid bracelets right here. No one knows why. None of them mean anything. You got 2 or 3 gold chains here. One is short, 2 are longer. You got the bling. Then on the other side you have that thick gold wristband bracelet, real gold. That baby was 15 grand. That's not great. And then you got a couple of those things, right? Not one of them is a wedding ring, and the guy's married. So it's like, there's truth to that, by the way.
All right, that is not our brand.
That's not our brand. So we're not going to do that. That's not us.
That's not our brand.
No.
Okay.
No.
We're not mafiosos. We are.
Why'd you go there? Why'd you just assume?
That's what you were talking about.
No, I wasn't. You can be that way. I said the Dawn. That's my fault.
You were saying you said the Don. Yeah.
I didn't just the Dawn. I've seen guys that don't have that look like that. So.
All right. So back to brand. We have historically progressive.
Yes.
We have inspiring conversation.
Yes. And simplicity.
I
think I like that.
Yeah.
So
that's our brand.
Anything you would add to it?
Fun.
Fun.
Funny.
I like to think we're fun.
Funny.
I like to think we're fun. Do you think we're fun, America?
I think our shit's funny.
I think we're fun.
But,
I think. Okay. That's all that matters.
Comedy is in the eye of the beholder.
Mm-hmm. And, by the way,
just like beauty.
We're looking at ourselves right now. That's why we can't stop laughing. So comedy is truly, in this case, the ball.
No, that shows you the ego you have, though, because you're just like watching yourself. You're like, yeah, I'm talking, and I'm watching myself talk.
Well, the beauty of this is you can make sure you don't do something stupid.
That's true.
Yeah. So there's a genuine approach to this. You want to make sure.
But sometimes I get lost in the screen, and I'm not really.
Do you think Joe Boo's looking at you or at me?
You.
Why me?
Because I don't want
Why? See, I have no doubts about Joe Boo. Maybe he's looking at you.
No, he's staring at
you. You're always trying to find the real Joe Boo who is yours. Like, look at his face. Look at his hair. He doesn't know. That's who he is.
It's a questionable doll.
He's not a questionable doll.
We're going to be historically progressive. We just need to check the background on that doll.
Joe Boo is a voodoo master. That is all you need to know. This is a need-to-know basis. All you know about Joe Boo is he's a voodoo master. He will help you hit the curveball, but only if you don't mess with his rum. Because if you mess with his rum, then something's going to hit you. So, and you ain't going to like it when it does. So, don't mess with Joe Boo's rum.
Don't worry, folks. I don't know where he's going with this either.
No one. I didn't say I was going anywhere. I'm saying.
I always get lost when you talk about the rum.
Well, that's good rum. That's rum that's doing its job. If you're not doing that, what the hell? What's in that shit? So no, but Joe Boo, tradition, history, Major League, one of the great baseball movies of all time. Electric Sex. Every kid in America needs to know and appreciate and respect what electric. You don't have to be Christian.
Really?
You have to be Christian.
Every kid needs to respect electric sex.
They need to appreciate the soft glow of electric sex.
I don't want my kids to fucking know about the soft glow.
Your kids already know about it because your kids have seen Christmas Story. They already know, and you weren't the one that told them, so don't feel bad about it.
I'm not going to promote it to them outside of Christmas.
Every Christmas day.
Okay. Just because there's some
they have a channel called TBS, and they run that movie
just because,
for 24 hours.
Just because there's a questionable Christmas
because
movie.
Because we're promoting it.
Doesn't mean I need to be like, in this questionable Christmas movie, this is the funniest shit ever.
It was a great, all-time great Christmas movie, and you know it.
No, yeah. Ralphie is
solid. The old man.
Yeah.
The old man. Guy, I had a father like him.
But having electric sex because of it?
You don't have you have the look of it. It's an image.
Oh, it's literally sitting there.
Yeah. It's right there. And it should be. And look at people. I'll tell you what, from a number of our people who have viewed this last 24 hours, one of the things they have commended us on, that I've heard, is the set. And Joe Boo and Electric Sex come up first, okay? And it's very complimentary. So I don't think we're wrong or off on this at all. I think we're onto something, actually. So
Well, those are you things.
well, a lot of our audience, is me. They're twisted like me.
I believe that.
They're twisted like me. They've got their own, look, the child inside of you that doesn't want to grow up.
No, we're just talking about brands, so we're talking about this shit. That's all.
So anyway, yeah.
Where to next, though?
Well, we have to go into Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, we do. I'll tell you why. Because there's a certain what's the word I'm looking for? There's a certain lack of we and I understand it to a point because we can't. If you're not a millionaire, you can't or an owner. It's very difficult to really put yourself in somebody's shoes. You try to, and sometimes you think you can, but then you're dealing with another human being. It's like, what would you do? And then there's what you would do, and there's what you think your boss would do. All right. In this case, there's a public opinion of what they think should be happening with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, and then there's what's really happening, which is from the Nets' perspective, and why these two are still sitting there, even though they don't want. Neither one wants to be there. Kyrie only opted in because he had no options. He wasn't leaving 36 minutes. He wouldn't want to be. If he had an option, he'd have left. Okay, but he did that to himself, and I'm so happy for that. Because if that don't wake him up, nothing will. But the problem is the whole world knows it. So with Durant, they're asking for his value. And now he doesn't care how valuable he is. Okay? But if you're asking an organization that did nothing but everything you ever asked until they finally got sick of your crap, and now you went out, okay? Don't be surprised when they do things on their terms and not yours. But yet, because you show up, you practice, you play when you're hurt, all this stuff, you're a model citizen outside of sport. So they're gonna try to help you a little bit. Cry me? No. Cry me ain't getting no help. Cry me is not. Cry me is going to end up in Antarctica somewhere playing for a team that.
But what happened today? Did something change it?
People are arguing about why, or trying to figure out why they haven't been moved yet. And
because they're monster contracts.
Well, not in Kyrie's case. Kyrie's is a lack of want. Okay,
but isn't Kyrie making 40-something?
He's making $36 million for 1 year. It's an expiring contract.
Oh, that's not a big contract.
It's not a big contract. Kevin Durant has 4 years left, and the fear here is twofold. They don't know if Durant wants to be there. Mm-hmm. So they're hesitant to give the Nets a boatload of future, 4 draft picks and an all-star player below 25, and all, and by the way, I have no problem with Brooklyn asking for that.
Yeah, he's Kevin Durant.
He's Kevin Durant. I mean, so I understand that, but I don't think the population understands it. We live in a world, and the world, when you're dealing with people,
a snappy world.
The world don't always work like that. There's a lot of people involved in this. A lot of people are going to get affected on multiple sides of this when it's over. This trade is going to change the landscape of the NBA for the next 2-3 years.
It's going to happen?
It's going to happen. It's a question of when and who. Now, what came up today was the dark horse. The dark horse in the race, clearly a dark horse because no one really mentioned, I think one person mentioned it, but this was Mark Spears talking about the Golden State Warriors and how they are the team to be looking at because they can actually give the Nets exactly what they want. They can give them an all-star player, Wiggins. They can give them a frontline center, Wiseman, who was a top 3 pick last year. He's in his second year. They can give them 4 first-round draft picks. They can give them everything they want. Technically. And why I'm laughing about that...
You think it would be a good play?
No, because Kevin Durant wants to go there. And I think that because of what the reporter who's been sniffing his jock for the past 5 years said. And when he left there, both sides were done. That was a mutual, they were done. He was done with them.
But he would rather be there than the Nets, right?
He needs to be... He did not list Golden State among his... It was Phoenix... to beat Golden State, probably, or it was Miami to beat Brooklyn. So
where's this rumor coming from?
This is a reporter on the West Coast who's talked to, or he's probably talked to some people in the Golden State organization, and what they were probably saying was, yeah, we have what it takes to get him, but do we really want him? And the people that are giving that information, they don't make the final say on it. They were just in the room when it got discussed, but they're not the ones pulling the trigger on it.
Yeah.
Okay? So the powers that be... he's got 4 years left. If Kevin Durant's not happy, he's going to force a trade out of there next year.
Yeah.
So this is the other elephant in the room that people aren't talking about. And KD's got to be happy. You know, what KD's got to do is he's got to find somebody he can trust that can build the team around him to his needs and stop trying to do it himself. He clearly doesn't know how to do it. And Kyrie doesn't know how to do it. Okay? And so their way didn't work. Their way fell flat on their face, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful to watch. Because Kyrie was like this Cleveland, he was like this in Boston, he was like this in multiple. Everywhere he's been like this. But for some reason, the next place he goes, this is going to be the time he changes. Leopard don't change its spots, boys and girls. there are things that you're never going to, because your ego is that level, where that's where Kyrie's ego is. He thinks he's smarter and better than everyone else. And his track record proves otherwise. Overwhelmingly. So nobody wanted him, and nobody wants him still. There's a very good chance both of these two are Brooklyn Nets in the regular season next year. Mm-hmm. There's a very good chance. They say KD is definitely going to get moved. He's the first one. With Crimey, it's all about who at the trade deadline is going to take a gamble. Mm-hmm. Who at the trade deadline is a contender. They're close, and they're going to say, you know what? I'm going to bite the bullet. I'm going to give this motherfucker 18 man. Let's see if he brings us over the finish line. But they're not going to talk extension until they see where the finish line is. Yeah. And if it's not a championship, Kyrie ain't getting no extension. If that scenario plays out, Kevin Durant, I believe, is the one that will be gone if it happens. He'll be the one that's gone before the season starts.
Because they can get more for him.
They can get more for him. They can. And you want to, and both sides, if you're the team that's going after him, you want to get him sooner rather than later so he can get acclimated to your system, your culture. So it doesn't behoove them to wait. Yeah. So that's the thing. With him, there's a rush. With Crimey is a trade deadline. This is the question: does he put us in the finals? Does he put us? That's it. And the answer is a yes, no. Mm-hmm. And that's going to happen probably with him. He'll probably be a net, and of course he'll sit out the whole first half of the season, sucking his thumb. And
you heard it here first.
Yep.
KD is going somewhere else.
First, he'll be first. Kyrie
is on the Nets, sulking.
Yep. Unless there's somebody.
I don't know if you heard that here first. Maybe people.
Well, the one elephant in this room is LeBron James. LeBron James's ego is big enough because he did it before that he can control. If Crimey comes here, I'll keep him in line. And by the way, that may be true. I'm not saying it's not true, but he's the one guy that can change this. He's the one guy who can tell LA, give them what they want, and get me him.
Do you think that's true? Like, would Kyrie be in a better headspace if he was with LeBron?
The only thing that I know is that's the only ring he's got.
That's true.
That's the only thing I know. I don't have anything else to...
That's the best player he's played with, right?
Yeah, him and Durant. I mean,
I guess Durant is pretty good.
He didn't want to tell you with Durant, but of course he was never there. Right. He was never there. When he played with LeBron, he played 65, 70 games. He was there. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's different. He was there. So, and he hit one of the biggest shots in the finals.
Not in every finals, though.
No, not in every final, no. But he was there in that one. Yep. And he hit one of the biggest shots in NBA history over Steph Curry. Mm-hmm. So he's forever, he's linked to that. Or linked to that, rather. So with him, the only way he is moved first is LeBron. I don't think anybody else wants him. I think what's going to happen is if LeBron doesn't make this happen, he's a net into the season to the trade deadline, and then somebody takes a gamble. That's what I think happens. Because that way you minimize
getting moved.
No, Kyrie.
Oh.
The only way he goes before
he could
Durant.
Stay, but he's going to be gone by the trade deadline.
I think that's when he goes, unless LeBron James makes it happen first. If LeBron James doesn't do this before the season, maybe it's LeBron James at the trade deadline. But he's the one guy that might do this before then, because he's the one guy who thinks he can control him. It's a fact. Yeah. It's a fact. Because they've been trying to dump this kid for anything. They're not holding him to the same. They want a boatload. They want a ransom for Kevin Durant. They ain't asking for a ransom for Crimey. They're just looking for an equal contract. Well, they don't give a shit who it is.
It's 1 year.
It's 1 year.
If he comes over and has a great year,
then you talk about it. And he's a Boy Scout. He does everything he's supposed to do for once in his freaking sorry career. Yeah. And when I mean sorry career, I'm not talking about his accomplishments. I'm talking about him. Okay. He's walking proof. You can.
So you think a team is going to get him on the cheap?
No, they're going to get him for $18 million. They're going to get him for.
But I mean, that's
stretch
relatively
run.
cheap in the NBA.
It is, and that's a gamble worth taking. It's a low risk, high reward deal. How you sell this to your fan base is if you're Milwaukee or Philadelphia. Look, we're 55 and something. We're the number 3 seed in the East. We just dropped a 26-point score in here we rented it for 3 months. And by the way, if it fails, then he's out of here in 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
So long term, it doesn't hurt us. It's a try to get you over the finish line.
It's not going to keep you from getting farther than you would.
Exactly. It's either going to put you over the top or it's not.
Or it's going to be nothing.
It's a low risk, high reward move. Okay. If Crimey had 5 years left, oh baby.
Oh, he wouldn't be going anywhere.
He'd be retiring a net. Because the Nets will just be like, you know what, the Nets will get to the point where they'll just eat the salary and get rid of him. We'll pay you $18 million. By the way, you know you're a loser when people are paying you not to show up. Okay? So that's when you know you've successfully hit loser status. No, you stay home today. I'll pay for it. That's a shot. Think about that.
I'd take that.
Yeah, well, I would too, because that's how I'd look at it.
I mean, shit.
So you're going to pay me not to work? Okay.
I had a solid NBA career, even if it was only for like 4 years.
Yeah, he probably wouldn't even care.
And then I turned
into a
poor player.
He probably
and then they were like, you know what? Next 3 years, I know we owe you $60 million.
Bobby Bonilla.
We'll give you 30 to just sit it out.
Stay home.
I'm like, let's fucking do this right now. Can I get a lump sum?
Let me ask you a question. How has that scene not appeared in a sports movie somewhere? That would be the funniest fucking line ever for a GM to say that to a malcontent who you've been watching in the movie for an hour and a half going, and then finally the GM snaps and goes, you know what? I'm going to pay you $27 million to stay home.
I know we owe you 75.
I'm going to pay you $27 million.
Would you take 27?
Just to stay home and do nothing. Because you're not doing anything here. All you're doing here is causing everything.
So I'll be honest. If I was in that situation, I'd negotiate up. Okay, I wouldn't expect.
I demand more.
I wouldn't expect. I wouldn't expect 50.
You are definitely a capitalist.
I wouldn't expect 50.
I would demand more for doing this.
I'd expect 47. Because if you hate me that much, then I'll.
Let's find out how much you really.
Yeah, if you hate me that much, then I'll come in just so you hate me.
And actually, what you do is you play the Jedi mind trick on them and go, you know what? I don't think you hate me at all. 20%.
I love this place.
I love this. That's it. That's all you're gonna do.
Yeah.
Bullshit. You know what? No.
You don't want to pay me my contract.
Let's see how much you hate me. You know what? You want me to do this? $37 million. No. Well, you hesitate. Now it's 40. No. We live in a different world than we did 30 seconds ago. Yep. Want to keep going? Keep going.
No, I think I would negotiate to around 47.
Stay home.
That's right.
Wow. That's awesome.
What did I say? They owed me 60?
If you could pull, did
they owe me 60?
No, that's the whole whatever they owed you.
Or they owe me 90?
No.
What did they owe me?
In Crimey's case, it's $37.6 million. If they said, look, just take the $37.6 million. So. Could you imagine the guy who gets to break that story on ESPN? Like this just in.
I'd be hitting
the Brooklyn Nets have told Kyrie Irving, we're going to pay you not to play. We're going to pay you to stay home.
I'd be driving around hitting bagel food trucks.
The world is better when you ain't around. And we're supposed to like, yeah, all right, cool.
Would you take it?
It's $37 million to do nothing?
Yeah.
Who wouldn't take that?
Would you have?
I'd laugh about it all the way to the bank.
Would you have any negative feelings about taking it?
Not at all.
I think I might have some guilt.
If someone hates me that much, my father had a saying when it came to athletes: if you're not hated, you're doing something wrong. He wasn't talking about respect. You can hate somebody and respect them. I hated Magic. I respect him. I hated Jordan. I respected him. Okay, you can do that. But my father's brother, if you're not being, because one day there was a fan that got on me in the stands from the team. We blew them out. And he was talking. He thought I was running up the score, which of course I was, because I was 14. And 14, you don't care about that. So, but they run. So my father goes, look, at the end of the day, if you're not doing something, you're doing something wrong, right? If they hate you, and if they don't hate you, you're doing something wrong.
See, another lover of misery.
Yeah. Well, that way he was talking about in the context of competitive sports. He wasn't talking about live your life that way. He was just saying that if you're an athlete, the successful ones always have haters.
Yeah.
They do. And the more successful you are, the more
man had haters, y'all.
Yeah, haters. If they weren't hating on you and you were an athlete, you were doing something wrong. You were irrelevant. I feel good for that guy. He got a couple of minutes tonight. Good for him. Good for him. He got on the scoreboard. Good for him. The parents will love that. Looks good. That guy. You don't care about that guy. The guy who dropped 35 on the neck, that's the guy you hate. Okay, so... But
remember the guy in the XFL? He hate me.
I'm trying to forget him, but you brought him up again, so... Yes, I remember he hated me.
That was a bad name.
That was the most famous name. That's how he got famous, was the stupid name on the back of his jersey. If he had blank on there, no one would have cared who blank was.
I kind of hate the talk of haters.
Who's number 82? Who's number 82?
Like, one of my least favorite phrases of all time is the phrase, don't hate the player, hate the game. Oh, God. That
drives you nuts too.
Oh my God!
Tomorrow Sunday we're on next. You're going to be the first thing you're going to see when I hit play is this giant "Don't hate the player, hate the game" sign. Right at the sash going right over the top.
That's one of the worst phrases ever.
Don't hate the player, hate the game. That's a
triggering phrase.
You know what? I think it's a poll question.
That's made me get into
We should make that a poll question in the comments section on YouTube, below our video. Just give us a thumbs up, thumbs down on question 3. So, when someone says don't hate the player, hate the game, how do you feel about that? Thumbs up or thumbs down? If you hate it, obviously thumbs down. If you like it, thumbs up. So in the comment section there, I want to see I'm curious to see where people lie on this.
You think people like that phrase?
I know people like it, but I also now know that there are people like you that hate it. So what I want to find out is how many people are like you out there, so then there are certain things I can do in my life to ensure my safety.
That's a trigger. That's a triggering statement. If I'm in an argument with somebody,
don't hate the player.
And for some reason I go,
it's weird.
Don't hate the player, hate the game, man.
Why does that drive you nuts?
Like, I'm really gonna.
There has to be a reason.
I'm gonna have to dive into my adulthood.
Let's find out.
I'm gonna have to dive into my adulthood to keep a physical altercation from happening.
Psst, Tom. You listen.
What?
Why do you hate that phrase?
It's just a cocky, arrogant phrase.
Don't hate the player, hate the game. Why is it cocky and arrogant?
Because it's like totally. It's totally relieving yourself of all accountability. Okay, so you can behave however you want, and if you're winning, and you can say, "Don't hate the player, hate the game." Right? Like,
it's a cop out.
Look, it's a cop out. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's why I hate it. So, like, if you're doing something wrong, and I go, "Why are you doing that?" and you go, "Don't hate the player, hate the game." No, if you're not handling yourself properly, that's on you. That's not on the game. In all walks of life.
There's a way to play the game. There's a way to play the game. Yeah, no, I understand that.
So
I've never the only capacity I hear it in is, and it's always in a sarcastic tone.
I've only heard punks say it.
It's always in a sarcastic tone, and if it's like a friend of yours, say, gets a promotion at work, and they show up and they get a bonus and whatever, they buy a fancy car or something, you get out of the car and they're like, what the hell's this? They don't hate the player, hate the game. Like, I've experienced that before.
That's like
I wasn't me getting out of the car.
That's like somebody on some boiler room shit.
Yeah, boiler room shit. That's exactly what I thought of.
Like, you're trying to live a movie like, don't
guy shows up in the guy shows up in a, what the hell was it? It was a BMW. The BMW was very high, like the M6 or whatever it was, BMW. It was pretty smoking ride.
Smoking ride?
Smoking ride. It was a smoking ride. Ride be smoking. Maybe not smoking when I hoped it was smoking, but it was smoking. Anyway, so he gets out of the car, and one of my other friends goes, what the hell? Where'd you get this? And he goes, don't hate the player, hate the game. And he smirked. So I just laughed it off. Because we knew he had got a promotion. We were going there to celebrate. We were going there to celebrate his promotion. So he was celebrating his promotion. So I have no problem with that. In that instance.
I thought you were building that up.
No, first of all, he worked his butt off to get this promotion. It wasn't handed to him. In fact, he got turned down.
So it ain't about the game.
He got turned down on it like 3 or 4 times before he actually got it. But he was persistent. And eventually he got it. And
so he is the opposite of that phrase.
Why? Because he didn't cheat the game?
If you're telling me he put the work in, then he's the opposite.
But I'm saying it was a sarcastic tone. That's why I allowed it. To me, it was a joke.
So he was clowning on that phrase.
Yes, that's all he was doing. I said it was always said in a sarcastic tone.
Okay.
In this case, this dude.
What you're saying, dude was literally celebrating like that. Let's go get some drinks on me.
No, he didn't do that either.
So yeah,
we bought him drinks. We bought drinks because we know, because we heard every time he went for this thing, he didn't get it. So we felt bad because he was qualified.
As long as it was a joke.
It was one of those deals, the other side where this guy on paper has all the qualifications, and he's been a loyal worker, and he's been accountable, and
stop running for. Is he running for Congress?
No, but he did everything right, and he still wasn't getting this. He was a model.
Sounds like a campaign.
He was a model employee.
Campaign ad.
He was a model employee. He couldn't figure out. He's like, I work my butt off. I work on holidays. I do everything they ask of me. And then I want to.
Is he running in the midterm elections?
No, this is a long time ago. So anyway, I'm not mentioning his name because I don't know if he wants his name mentioned. So we keep it up. But I mean, the bottom line is, he was just a sarcastic tone, almost like he doesn't really care for the phrase either, but he just threw it out there.
Okay,
and it was funny.
Okay, but now that I talk about the phrase,
yes,
have your feelings changed at all? What are you feeling about that phrase now?
I think it depends on the context of it.
Okay, so I moved you a little bit because there was a time where
I think you make a fair point where that there are some sentences where you shouldn't use it because it comes off as cocky and arrogant. I understand that. I agree with that. So, however, there's the scenario I just gave you.
Right, but that's not even using it. That's a joke.
I know.
Somebody is clowning the phrase.
If you're using it in that way, I'm totally okay with it. Yeah. So I'm saying there's a scenario, at least in my
okay, for instance, I've used the term "get her done" in my life.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
But I'm kind of mocking that phrase. That's
he was
kind of mocking that phrase.
He was making fun of he was making a light of it.
Right. He was making fun of saying it like that.
Yeah, it was funny. And he meant it to be that way.
And I actually did that.
It was funny.
But it was a joke on the joke.
Yes. And that's how he used it. And by the way, it worked. Worked like a motherfucker, actually. So, I mean, that's his
the funny thing is, he hid that persona for so long.
He did. And he finally said, you know what? Just dancing for the man just ain't where it's at.
Right, for the longest time, I thought that's who he was.
And no matter what they try to take away from me,
I didn't realize that was a bit. Did you realize that's a bit?
Get her done?
No, he doesn't really talk like that.
Yeah, I know.
But for the longest time, he would do interview shows talking like that.
Yeah.
So I thought that's who he was.
That's who he was. Yeah. So, and that was all about an image that he was trying to portray because it promoted him.
Yeah, he was making fun of that.
He was making fun. That's what it was.
That was funny.
So, in any event, what I'm saying is that it depends on the scenario. There are scenarios, to your point, where I agree it's not, okay? And then there's the guy, this dude, who busted his ass and was persistent and kept going and didn't let it. Every time he got hit, he got back up and he did what everybody wanted.
Is he running for office again?
No. I'm saying that's how he got his promotion. So he celebrated, and he went and got the car. I'll tell you this about this dude too. This was the car he always.
He's not running for office.
No, but this is the car he always wanted. So he wasn't fake at all. The car he talked about getting 10 years ago, he went and got it, which to me is a cool.
Prius?
No, it was a BMW. It was like an M6. This thing was smooth. And
I thought it was a Hyundai Santa Fe.
It was a Yugo.
They don't make those anymore.
There's a reason for that. They still make the BMW though. Anyway, my point is that this dude is nothing but consistent with who he is. So to me, that was like the dream car. That's like that scene you see at the beginning of a movie and the kid has nothing in it at the end, and that thing he said 2 hours ago now it comes to fruition. You're like, and he worked his butt off to get it. And you're like, oh my god, that's awesome.
Oof. I have a live update. So we can change topics.
Mm-hmm. So Kevin Durant and Kyrie are going nowhere soon.
Nowhere. But if anybody goes first, it's going to be Durant. Yeah. Kyrie will be gone by the All-Star break.
No, the trade deadline.
Trade deadline. Almost the same thing, but not quite.
So,
Update, baseball, Toronto losing to Seattle 8-3 in the 5th inning.
Wow.
So, that could be good for the Red Sox.
Toronto has a pitching problem. It's just it. And the other one? What's the other big one? Drop the big one on us. What happened? What happened with Atlanta and St. Louis?
No, Atlanta won.
They did?
Yeah.
What happened?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. St. Louis won.
Jeez, will you make up your damn...
I'm sorry. I forgot. I got a little confused because it ended in the 11th. And in the 10th, I thought the Braves were going to win it, and that was my last memory of the game. However, the Cardinals ended up scoring. Both teams scored in the 10th, so it stayed tied at 2. In the 11th, the Cardinals scored 1 run, had an opportunity to do a lot more damage than that, but didn't. But then they held the Braves down in the bottom of the 11th, and the Cardinals won 3-2. So that's a nice win for the Mets, actually.
Mm-hmm. It is. It helps you.
Because the Mets won in a big way today, even though it was against the Marlins.
It counts.
But they were only 2.5 up on Atlanta, so this makes it 3.5. Bassett comes back tomorrow off the COVID IL, so
it counts.
Could be a big weekend in Queens if the Mets can really stay focused through this 4-game series with the Marlins. They're in the midst of a 21-game stretch where they play the Marlins 11 times. So, kind of interesting to see how well they play in these games because they are better than the Marlins. But like any game, maybe even more in baseball, it's weird. Anything can happen any day. So, even a team that you're better than will beat you, once every 3 games. So, we'll see what happens. 4-game series.
Mm-hmm.
What can the Mets do? Can they win 3 out of 4? Can they sweep it? I hope it's at least 3 out of 4.
Mm-hmm. So, just so we're being consistent here, we were looking at where did the Islanders pick? I thought they were 13. Looks like the Islanders traded the 13th pick. Looks like because Chicago was there. I thought they were picking 13. That was what I originally stated. So I don't know where. I'm looking for the Islanders, for our dear friend Craig Scatino out there. And I don't know where they are. Capitals at 20. Got Ivan Miroshnichenko, a left winger from Russia. Well, we know how we feel about them right now. And as they quote, this is a spicy selection. Spicy. Okay? The guy's 6'1", built like a truck. Says that. Built like a truck. And who can skate like the wind. He's built like a truck, and he can skate like the wind. Wow. Try that one out, and you can fertilize the lawn. Built like a truck, skates like the wind. We're going to use that. We're going to use that with you. Okay? Built like a truck and skates like the wind. Okay?
Built like a soft truck and skates like a soft truck blowing in the wind.
By the way,
that would work better.
By the way, he likes to fire pucks from his rocket shot. His rocket shot. His rocket shot.
Oh, because of the Boston accent, I thought you were saying shart.
No, shot.
You were saying shot.
Yep. The Penguins.
No, but how do you say shart?
Shart.
Why don't you say shot?
I could do that. I'm just not drunk.
No, but it's like,
If I'm drunk, it's like short.
It's a rocket shot.
You shot.
And I also shot it.
Shot.
I shot it in my pants, and it's a rocket shot. It's the same wood. It's the same fucking wood. When I say effing word, it didn't sound.
The Penguins at 21 got Owen Pickering, by the way, defenseman, out of nobody gives a fuck. Okay.
Yeah, why are you even reading that?
Because Brian, you trying to cater to all
nobody gives.
So,
dude. Okay, so let me ask you this.
Hold on.
What? No, I know the answer to this, but what draft is less known? The MLB draft or the NHL draft?
That's a great question.
No, I don't think so, because I know which one.
Well, you're going to say NHL because you don't follow it.
No one does.
I'll bet you Craig Scatino could tell you. I'll bet you Jim Billy watched there. I'll bet.
Okay, I know two diehard.
So's Jim Billy. He played college hockey too.
Right.
I know a few diehards in different parts of America, pal. I think this conversation definitely merits a conversation.
Okay, well, let's go.
Not tonight.
Okay.
Not tonight. We're going to do it though. Oh yeah. Right. We're going to sit there and that's, by the way, what is the least in terms of importance that people focus on, the MLB draft or the NHL draft?
I know what
that's a no. I want to know. I want to find out. So we'll figure that out, at least here in the United States. Okay. So anyway,
You're a hockey fan and you're not watching the NHL draft.
I have it up. I've been updated. We've been doing a show.
For Craig.
I have updated, and for him and for Jim. But
not for yourself.
And for myself. The Bruins didn't pick till 54. I'm still trying to figure out how that happened. Like, what shitbag move
That's
did this
true.
guy...
You did say
what shitbag move did this idiot, this ass clown, Jeremy Jacobs, make now? By the way, if there's someone that needs to be lynched in this world, it's Jeremy Jacobs.
Don't say that.
What? I think there's about... Any Bruins fan now is probably sharpening the blades to run him over with him, okay? So, wasted Patrice Bergeron's career, is wasting Marchand's career, and Pasta... That's the front line, but the greatest front line in hockey.
You got a guy named Pasta?
His name's Pasternak. We call him Pasta up in Beantown.
Pasternak?
His name's Pasternak. We call him Pasta.
Oh, that's a solid nickname.
Yes, it is.
I love Pasta.
Pasta. Okay? And he's a stud, too. And Jeremy Jacobs don't give a hoot nanny because all he's got to do is put those three on the ice and that'll get him in the playoffs. And then you diehards, who I feel bad for, but I'm like, it serves you right, you'll keep showing up, which doesn't give him any incentive to change. Stop going and watch how fast things change. He might sell the team, which is what you all really want anyway. So anyway, that's the NHL we are right now. I still don't know. We only went to 32. I don't know what happened to the Rangers. They had the 13th pick. Poof, gone. Okay, so I don't know what happened to them. But anyway, was there anything else we wanted to cover now?
No, I got to say goodbye.
We're closing this out. We're right on the midnight hour here in the East. So, hey, it's been great getting these first 2 episodes out. We're excited to hear your feedback on it, good, bad, or indifferent, because we're always about evolving and improving here. Progressive, with a splice of history.
Historically
So
progressive.
we will be back again on Sunday. Until that time, you guys have a safe weekend out there. Go Red Sox. Go Mets. Sorry.
You have a problem saying that?
It's a New York team. But I did it. I got it out.
The Mets.
I got it out, but I almost threw up in my mouth.
It's the
So
Mets.
anyway, the New York team, a New Yorker. Anyway, you guys have a great, safe weekend. We will catch you Sunday in the evening hours.